the hardscape is considered to be the skeleton of your nature aquarium. If you have to build a good hardscape, you cannot limit your resources.
How do you actually select a rock for a hardscape?
सिर्फ प्लान का मत सोचो या सिर्फ हार्डस्केप का मत सोचो, वो आई थिंक वो पूरा पिक्चर आप माइंड में ले लो कि ऐसे हमको चाहिए. Forestscape, or you want a naturescape, or you want an Iwagumi. So based on that you choose your rocks. उसको फोटो खींचते रहो एवरी. उससे लर्निंग लेने के लिए एक सस्टेनेबल टैंक रखो और एक टैंक रखो जो आप मेक एंड ब्रेक कर रहे हो, आप कर रहे हो उसको ब्रेक कर रहे हो, फिर से आप नया एक हार्डस्केप ट्राई कर रहे हो.
What does the role of a color of the background and color of the substrate, what does it play? So friends, today we are into a new video in Ani Aqua, where today we will be discussing all about the art of hardscaping, and with whom it's none other than famous aquascaper Mr.Rajan Bhumick, who is hailing from the famous aquascaping hub B2N, that is back to nature. So let's meet Mr. Rajan Bhumick, the famous aquascaper from B2N. So hello Rajanda.
Hello.
Okay. So welcome to the show. Kindly just throw in some light as to how an aquascaper should plan his scaping.
When we talk about nature aquariums, what we actually try to mimic or create are direct inspirations from nature, right? So whatever we see in nature, whatever we experience in nature, we try to replicate that in a glass box, right? So hardscaping is a very important part of the nature aquariums, because the hardscape is considered to be the skeleton of your nature aquarium. So whatever you build on is basically based on your hardscape. So what do we mean by hardscaping? The hardscaping is basically the structure which is built with natural rocks, natural wood, or other natural elements combined together to mimic nature, and we add plants and we create the entire ecosystem, right? We are procuring things from nature, we are getting things from nature. The wood that we use, the rocks that we use, all are natural, whether we are buying them from over the counter stores, or we are collecting them from somewhere in nature. We are using natural elements. Aquascaping deals with two aspects basically. One is the science part of it, one is the arts part of it. So when we talk about arts, we talk about fine art. We are inspired by nature and we create something. It's a masterpiece that we try to create. So every aquascape basically consists of the basics of whatever fine arts consists of. So we are creating things which got proportions, we are creating perspectives here, we are creating the depth of fields here, we are creating golden ratio, we are using the rule of third. So everything that a masterpiece painting or a sculpture would consist of, we are implementing that in our naturescape. So the more you can implement this or these, you tend to get a better aquascape. So this is where you make or break a hardscape. So if you are using good depth of field, if you are good using the depth of the tank, if you are using good proportions, in total, sum total, you are using a composition, you are creating a composition with natural elements to create that scape.
How do you think should maybe a newbie, a newcomer, or maybe he's a pro, he should be starting off with the hardscape? What is the ideal way of starting it?
We have to plan a tank according to an aquascape according to our situation, the circumstances, the temperature of water, the wherever we are keeping the tank, what kind of tank do we want. Generally what we feel is like, and we have been doing this, and a lot of aquascapers from India do this, including me. We try to emulate other aquascaper scapes. So what we see in the picture, we try to emulate that, we try to copy that and things like that. That is something we should get out of. So exactly. First thing is,
that is very boring, copying some
so see, you're not creating something, you're just recreating something that is already being created. It's better to explore nature yourself. Whenever you're going in the lap of nature, click your photographs. If you think that you've got an inspiration of if you're going to a forest, and if you've got an inspiration of a forest tank, forest aquascape, you click the pictures, you sketch the the layout, and you keep that in mind and you replicate it. So for example, I had done a tank which was in 2020. So I had traveled to the Sundarbans, where I was fascinated with the mangrove forest, so the root system of the mangroves. And also I had gone to some part of Sikkim where I had seen that on the pines the mosses grow fantastic, and the roots of the pines, they interlock and they form like a stairway to heaven. So I had used both. I had clicked pictures, I had used both, tried to amalgamate both, something from South Bengal, something from North Bengal, fuse that together to create an aquascape. So that is how you should deal with it. If you have to build a good hardscape, you cannot limit your resources. Suppose example, you need 3 kilos of wood or 5 kilos of rock. You cannot go with that. You have to choose from 10 to 12 kilos of wood, choose your best wood, and then go for your naturescape. If you are doing a tank for ourselves, doing a tank for anyone else, attempting any aquascape, we'll do the same. Because masterpieces cannot be ready-made. Masterpieces, if you're creating masterpieces, if you're trying to create a aquascape which you look at and say wow, you have to choose from your resources and choose the best of the best. You have to ensure that you are choosing the materials which is water safe, your tank safe, and which is going to sustain. Because I'll tell you the simple example of what new beginners do. They come to us, or in many forums we have seen they come and say that, can we use tulsi wood, can we use this wood, can we use this rock, can we use railway rocks. So the basic thing is, in terms of rocks, the more inert the rocks are. By the term inert, we mean that when you put it in the water, the water parameters won't change or will change to the minimum. Your pH level won't be disturbed. Your water hardness won't be disturbed, or any other parameters. There are chemicals which will not leach over time. And if you cannot choose rocks which are inert, you don't identify rocks which are inert, use rocks which people have been time testedly, they have time tested the rocks and they have used it for years. Rocks which are sold in the aquarium shops, which are supposedly aquarium safe. If you want to go that safe way, you go that safe route and buy rocks, buy wood and use them. Yes, you have to treat woods, you have to treat rocks before you are using in the water. Number one. Number two is, if you are going to procure water, so suppose you go to a forest, you find a dry wood, you want to use it, you can use it. Firstly is, you have to know that whether it's a softwood or hardwood. Softwood doesn't work in aquariums because it will melt. Hardwoods do. Ensure that the birch, which is the outer coating of the wood, is, you get rid of it. You season it properly by what we mean by seasoning is like, keeping it submerged for 2 to 3 months, then again drying it, again submerging it if it's required, or boiling it if you have resources. Carry on with these procedures, make it safe, and then use in your tank, or otherwise you might have to repent later.
Absolutely. One thing I find it very intriguing is that I would really like to know ki, like an aquascaper of your level, how do you actually select a rock for a hardscape? Like, because like different rocks are of different colors. For example, Sheru rock is of around about a greyish tone. Dragon is of the base is a cream tone and all that. So, but if I say the basic skeleton is the hardscape definitely, but ultimately you plant something or the other on the hardscape. So, does selecting a rock, the color of the rock, does it actually matter?
Yeah, it does matter, because see, it all again depends on how you are planning the aquascape, right? So if the better you are as a visualizer, the better your scape will be. So what we mean by visualizing it is like, before you are putting your hands on the water, you can actually see a picture in front of your eyes how the tank output is going to be in the end. So if the better you picture it, the better that better visualizer you are, who can visualize, before starting you can visualize the end product. It's better. So if you cannot do that, it's not a sin. You might try to draw your tank, you might paint your tank, or you might try to recreate that, doodle that in paper, and plan the tank. So different rocks come with in different textures. Different wood comes in different textures. Nowadays, market is flooded with varieties of rocks, varieties of wood over the counter that are sold. So the kind of aquascape you want, you choose the rocks accordingly, you choose the plants accordingly even. So if you are building an aquascape with dragonstone, you have to choose contrasting plants. If you use orange red plants over red stone, it doesn't make any sense, because it's hardly visible and it doesn't create the definition. If you are using the vice versa, you are using more greener shades of plants, it is better. So the plant part is a different topic, so I'm not getting into it, but the overall aspect of it, you have to visualize it based on whatever the kind of structure you want. If you want a mountainscape, you want a forest scape, or you want a nature scape, or you want in Iwagumi. So based on that, you choose your rocks. And yes, as I mentioned, that take references from nature, nowhere else. No Google pictures. Google pictures obviously work. It helps you at one point of time when you are taking the fine tuning part of your references. That works.
One is not unable to go close to nature.
Right. So, but if I have to create a forestscape, I won't take reference from any other people who have created the forestscape. I'll rather Google forest pictures, and if you are unable to go there in the lap of nature and emulate it, try to directly take inspiration from nature. So that is one important thing that someone who's starting should do, and someone who's starting should avoid.
पहले क्या एक जन एक्वेस्केपर को, या माने कोई भी हॉबीज जो अपना टाइम स्केपिंग कर रहा है, उसको क्या फिर क्या वो प्लांट करेंगे, उसके हिसाब से उसको रॉक का कलर, रॉक्स उसको सिलेक्ट करना चाहिए, कि पहले उसको रॉक सिलेक्ट कर लेना चाहिए, उसके हिसाब से उसको प्लांट अकॉर्डिंगली करना चाहिए?
सी इट शुड बी म्यूचुअल. ये म्यूचुअल होना चाहिए, क्योंकि अगर आप सिर्फ प्लांट का सोच रहे हो, and if you are not thinking about the hardscape, then your hardscape part will fall. वो गिर जाएगा. If you are only thinking about hardscape, then क्या होगा कि वो hardscape बहुत highlight होगा. Your plant section, the science part of it will die down, right? So that is the reason why initially मैंने ये बोला कि there are two parts of it. एक है आपका arts part, एक है आपका science part. One part is the designing part. एक पार्ट है उसका आपका प्लांट्स एंड साइंस पार्ट. इट शुड बी म्यूचुअल. ये म्यूचुअल होना चाहिए, नहीं तो क्या होगा, फिर एक की तरफ आप अगर ज़्यादा ध्यान दोगे ना, तो क्या होगा, दूसरा जो वो फॉल अपार्ट कर जाता है, वो गिर जाता है.
दोनों इक्वली इंपॉर्टेंट है,
ऑब्वियसली. सो एक्चुअली क्या करना चाहिए कि आपको वो टोटल पिक्चर विजुलाइज करना चाहिए, नॉट ओनली जस्ट द प्लांट्स. डोंट जस्ट थिंक अबाउट प्लांट्स. अब सिर्फ प्लांट का मत सोचो या सिर्फ हार्डस्केप का मत सोचो. वो आई थिंक वो पूरा पिक्चर आप माइंड में ले लो कि ऐसे हमको चाहिए. इफ़ आई एम ट्राइंग टू अटेम्प्ट एक फॉरेस्टस्केप, तो वो फॉरेस्टस्केप में हम कैसे, कहाँ, कौन सी जगह में मॉस यूज़ करेंगे, कौन सा मेरा डेप्थ ऑफ फील्ड रहेगा, कौन सा मेरा पर्सपेक्टिव रहेगा, मैं जब शूट करूँगा टैंक को तब वो आउटपुट भी कैसे रहेगा, वो टोटल आप उसमें ध्यान दो. एंड व्हाट हेल्प्स इज़ बेसिकली कि आप सिर्फ नेकेड आई से मत देखो, जो भी स्टेप्स है ना आप उसको मोबाइल में भी कैमरा होगा आपका, तो उसको फोटो खींचते रहो एवरी स्टेप का, बिकॉज अल्टीमेटली यू विल बी शूटिंग द टैंक. एंड इफ यू आर गिविंग इट इन सम पार्टिसिपेटिंग इन सम कॉन्टेस्ट, और इफ यू आर नॉट, अ पिक्चर विल टैंक वो नहीं रहेगा आपका. शायद वो 10 साल बाद आपका टैंक नहीं रहे, आपका वो पिक्चर रह जाएगा आपका टैंक का. सो या वीडियोज़ रह जाएंगे. And whenever it's documented step by step, you gain confidence with that photographs. You learn from whatever mistakes you are doing. There's something called eye fatigue. वो eye fatigue जब आ जाता है ना, आपका आँख काम नहीं करता है, आपका दिमाग काम नहीं करता है. Then whatever you do, you think that ये जो कर रहे हो आप अच्छा कर रहे हो, but वो actually सही नहीं होता है. When you wake up the next day and the first thing you do is like right after you wake up, आप जाग के पहले thing you look at the hardscape, you find hundreds of problems in that thing. And then
fatigue shouldn't be there. You have to be fresh.
So you have to be fresh, energetic from inside, and mentally and physically fit to deal with the design of a tank. Give your hardscape a lot of time. If your hardscape falls down, your entire tank, no matter what plant you grow, it all goes for a toss.
Is there any formula as such as to which rock are among the best for hardscapes, or which particular woods are among the best? Any formula as such?
There's no formula. The only formula is like you keep on trying, keep on doing tanks, you learn from your mistakes, you learn and you grow. That's the only formula. No one is born an aquascaper. The things that are there are inside you. You have to nurture them. आप खुद आपका टैंक बना सकते हो, आप खुद आपका टैंक ब्रेक कर सकते हो. बाई ब्रेकिंग व्हाट आई मीन इज़ लाइक आप ऐसे काम कर रहे हो जो टैंक का वो वाट लगा दिया, आप इतना ख़राब डिज़ाइन किया या इतना अच्छा डिज़ाइन कर दिया कि वो वाओ फैक्टर आ गया टैंक में. सो ऑल दिस पॉइंट्स cumulatively works towards a successful tank. One more suggestion is that helps me and has helped me, and if you cannot afford multiple tanks, मेरे को ये लगता है कि बहुत सारा टैंक हो जाने से योर फोकस डाइग्रेस कर जाते हैं. आप तब ये नहीं सोच पाते हो कि आपका बहुत टैंक. सी इफ यू हैव ग्रोन दैट अप दैट लैडर, आप कॉन्फिडेंट हो कि मैं 10 टैंक मेंटेन कर सकते हूँ एक ही लेवल पे, तो आप जाओ करो, यू फाइट इट आउट. But if you are a beginner, or if you are just in the intermediate state and you are not confident, you cannot give that time.
And it's not just about making it, it's about maintaining it.
Absolutely. So making and creating and maintaining the tank, the one thing that has helped is keeping 2 tanks. Because आप एक tank को after 3 months, 6 months, you break it down. How will the soil react after 2 years? Do you know that? How will the plants grow in an old soil? Do you know that? Whether you are putting in new plants in that old tank, are they reacting the same way? Is your fertilization resume the same? How are you dealing? आप कैसे डील कर रहे हो टैंक को लेके? If your tank is not in an AC, not in a chiller condition, where we have summers now which are 40-degree temp, and in winters which have 25-degree. So drastic action, make a new tank. You keep one tank which is sustainable tank for years, from where you will continuously learn. One will give you the learning. एक आपको वो learning देगा जो continuous sustainable learning है. टैंक में क्या होता है, नहीं होता है, weather changes, how is the tank reacting. उसको जानने के लिए, उसको ऑब्जर्व करने के लिए, उससे लर्निंग लेने के लिए एक सस्टेनेबल टैंक रखो और एक टैंक रखो जो आप मेक एंड ब्रेक कर रहे हो, आप कर रहे हो उसको ब्रेक कर रहे हो, फिर से आप नया एक हार्डस्केप ट्राई कर रहे हो उसमें। तो क्या होगा फिर, वो जो एक टैंक से आपका लर्निंग है ना वो रेस्ट्रिक्ट नहीं हो जाएगा। आपका दूसरा जो टैंक है उससे यू विल गेट न्यू लर्निंग, न्यू एक्सपीरियंसेस एंड यू विल गेट हैंड्स ऑन ट्रेनिंग विद दैट।
Background color has got any relation to do with aquascaping of the tank? How is the relation? And
I would
say, what is there any relation at all as to the color of the substrate with the overall scape as well? What does the role of color of the background and color of the substrate? What does it play?
So when you're talking about background, you mean to say the background screen that you're using, right?
Yeah.
So see, the thing is, it is a personal choice. I mean, and also it depends on how your background versus foreground will, relate. So one thing is like for tanks like chiclet tanks and all, you use a lot of dark background because the foreground is minimal, and then the colors of the fishes are vibrant and it becomes a contrast. So you can use a black background in a tank, but it depends on how your hardscape is, right? So if you have something which is an hardscape which is more predominantly empty on the background, you use a color which will contrast it. Otherwise, if you are creating a aquascape where there's a lot of clutter, a lot of things interlinked, interconnecting, yeah, a lot of basically focal points basically. So then you don't use a dark or a dark background, you use a frosted background or a white vinyl. It stands out during the shoot. It gives you that backlight when you use it. When the use of backlight, it gives you that essence. The other question was about
color of the substrate or the
see again that is ये फिर से ये हो गया कि आपका टोटलिटी के ऊपर डिपेंड करते हैं। अगर आप लाइट कलर का सबस्ट्रेट आजकल जो मिलते हैं वो अगर यूज़ कर रहे हो तो आप उसमें जा सकते हो, बट आई पर्सनली प्रेफर वो जो आपका नोशनल जो डार्क ब्राउन कलर का जो सबस्ट्रेट आते हैं, आई पर्सनली प्रेफर इट बिकॉज ऑफ द फैक्ट दैट it creates that contrast with the hardscaping materials and the plants. The dark soil and the green, the other colored plants and the hardscape, it creates a better contrast.
Greenery also pops up.
Yeah.
So if you could just kindly share your number as to anybody wants to contact B2N.
So Back to Nature's number is 9073138809. So that is the number where you can call. And Back to Nature also is in all the social medias. By all the social medias, what we mean is like it's in Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube as well by the handle B2N India. And Back to Nature has also its integrated website, which is backtonatureaquariums.com.
Would thank Mr. Rajan Bhumick, Rajan Bhumick, the famous, renowned Mr. Rajan Bhumick of Kolkata. So I'm very grateful for giving us such a wonderful and valuable time. So, and behalf of Ani Aqua and B2N, I wish you all a very, very happy aquascaping.
Yeah, happy aquascaping to everyone. Thank you so much.